Hi everyone, my name is Zexun Yao, and I'm currently a master student at Cornell Tech. And for the summer, I am working as a machine learning engineer intern with the town in AI. And the project I'm mainly focusing on is synthetic data generation, and specifically for synthetic text generation. Um, so here's today's agenda. So firstly, I will talk about what is synthetic text data, how does it look, and why it is important. And then I was going with synthetic text data a little bit. And for part three, I will basically do um, show the examples of our project and do a quick demo. And lastly, I will talk about what's next for our project and from the big picture, talk about the future of synthetic text data. So what is synthetic text data and its importance? The definition of the synthetic text data is quite straightforward, and it is just a artificially generated textual content by algorithm or machine learning models rather than human generated. So it is normally created using large language models (LLMs) like GPT-5 and plums, and why it's important to us. And there are several points. So the first point will be you can overcome the data scarcity. So synthetic text data enables the creation of large volumes of data for domain with limited annotated data sets. So it will allow researchers and developers to explore new use cases and train models where real data is hard to obtain. And the second important thing is it can enhance the privacy protection. So by replacing the real personal or sensitive informations with realistic but fictional alternatives, synthetic data minimize the risk of exposing confidential user data. And thirdly, it can reduce annotation cost. So since synthetic data can be automatically labeled during generation, it significantly cuts down the needs for manual data labeling, and which is often expensive and time consuming right now. And lastly, it can improve the model robustness. So diverse synthetic data examples allows model to train on edge cases, real scenario, and body language patterns. So at last, ultimately, it can lead to improved performance on ancient real-world tasks. And on the image below here is a really simple example of how the process of generating synthetic data. So as you input some original data sets, the information might be confidential here. So for example, like the age and income, and after you put it into the LLM, it will automatically analyze the data set and generate a paragraph that contains these confidential um, data within a paragraph. And after the machine learns from the paragraph, it can automatically help you generate some fake but looks realistic data sets and erase the confidential issues as well, because all the genders, ages, and the income in the synthetic data sets are fake. They're not real, but you are fine to work on your own model or your training process in the future, because it basically mimics the functionality of the original data set. And then scaling with synthetic data, I will talk about its role in current AI industry. So basically, synthetic data accelerates the iterative prototyping. So developers can quickly test and refine algorithm without waiting for real data collection, and it can also resolve the code stop problems. So synthetic data provides an initial data set to train models where no user data exists yet, for example, in the new domains or for new users. And it can also support comprehensive testing, so generates edge cases, as I mentioned before. Um, and the real scenarios not well represented in real data and can be customized for the use case specific training. For example, like the legal summaries or customer chats. So another big issue with synthetic data is privacy. So um, it enables really safe data sharing. It allows collaboration and benchmarking across different institutions without breaching confidentiality. And most of synthetic data allows safe training and testing under the strict data privacy laws. And some organizer, organizations will also create a secure, develop, and test pipeline without exposing user data, and as well as the identification by design, since no real identities or events are replicates, mitigating the risk of leak of the confidential data. But yeah, so basically, all the stuff I mentioned about above is the advantage of having synthetic data generation, but synthetic data generation also face a lot of challenges. So I have also list some points here. The first day is it might generate a lot of bias. So if the model generating synthetic data is biased, the output will carry and potentially reinforce this bias as well. And so the since the machine is generating the data for us, so it might have low realism or utility. So poorly generated data may lack logical flow or coherence, harming the downstream training, uh, as well as the model may generate convincing but factually incorrect content for the users or for us. And next, since like everyone can generate different uh, type of synthetic text data, so it could be misused for spam, fake reviews, or disinformation if not properly regulated. And lastly, and this is what we are working on as well, the synthetic data definitely needs validation, so continuous quality checks, human audits, and automated metrics are needed to obtain trustworthiness. And this is what we are aiming to solve as well. And back to our product and the solution. So here is a snapshot of the our workflow. So the step one is the task configuration. So user can define what they need from our front end page. They can either choose a topic, and as well as the volume of data and the content tab. So in my case, it will be a language question and answer data set, or the or personal identified information as well. So my teammates is working on the video, audio, and image generation as well. And the step two is basically a gateway dispatch. So after the user has the input will be sent via an API to a central place. That's the the system will intelligently route it to a suitable generation pipeline, and then it will basically go to the synthetic content engines. So depending on the user's request, the system will activate a specific model. So text generator or the image generator we have created to synthesize the data set, and then we will comes to um, quality control layers or automated filters remove the duplicates, validate the entirety, and basically clean the data set for user to use. And lastly, users can download the data set in the front end page um, for the text data set they would like to generate it and train on their models. So the projects, the specific field I'm mainly focusing on is personally identifiable information, and here is the pipeline of how I did it. So I will generate synthetic data by first sampling 4 to 6 or even more PII field from a predefined schema, and the realistic values are created using fakers and custom logic I design, or you know, everybody knows the value credit card numbers or the format of the VIN numbers. Also, sometimes it can be the passport numbers as well. And then I will insert it into a natural language using OpenAI platform with diverse prompt templates and tones. So here is a quick demo. So basically here is how the backend works. So if the user is typing their prompts and request in the front end, it will automatically be sent to the back end. So in this case, it will be the um, task type. The task type will be PII, and the prompt will be just generated a synthetic people, and the number of rows means how like there the user only want to generate 3 rows of the data, and the columns means what kind of uh, topic, what kind of information they want to be included. So after the command is sent to the backend, uh, the information will be generated like in this format. It will show the entities, the seeds, and a paragraph for users to use later, and all the information will be saved to our database. And automatically, we will produce a downloadable URL and send it to the front end for users to download their data sets. And the image over here is basically show the process of generating the data in our backend. And so basically, if I need to do a demo here, it would be like this. So you can see the backend is working, and it will just generate all the informations like this. And all the information will be stored in our database and for users to download in the future. And after this, users can go to the front end page to check their data sets, and we also have some free and testing data sets for users to download on our website like this. So the users can click on the download CSV, and they can basically use our pre-generated data sets and see how the quality is, and would it be helpful for them to train the models. And we have a lot of other options like the movie reviews, the cars, the disease, and the users can select based on their choice. We also have images, undersea object detection as well, videos and audios and agents are coming soon. Yeah, so this is basically how our front end looks. Um, so here's some example output. You can see the text, the paragraphs I generated, and the entities it filters from the paragraph. And second, to validate that my synthetic data generation is accurate, I also did an ER fine tuning on that. Um, So I firstly convert the label data into document format using spaCy, and the invalid or overlapping spans are logged in and filtered to ensure the training data quality. The dataset is split into 70 and 30% into training and develop set using a fixed random seed. And the structure supports a quick iteration and scaling to larger data sets as well. So the result is pretty good. So the models can um, accurately catch the entities from the sentence, and the precision, recall, and F1 score are mostly 1, and sometimes it's about like 0.89 or 0.67, which is fairly high. So I think the synthetic PI data I generated is quite convincing, and the the performance of the dataset is really high as well. Yeah. So another project I'm working on is the language data demo, large the question and answer uh, language data generation. So basically, it follows the same structure, uh, but you can just change like from the to the backend. The task tag will just be the language, and the prompt would be the topics of question and answer tasks you want to generate it. You don't have to specify the columns and examples in this case, and the data will also be sent to the um, our database for user to download. And this text is specifically focusing on the Japanese language question and answer tasks because another project of our is working on the language chatting bot. Um, so we may need it would be super helpful if we can generate these question and answer synthetic data as well. So the next step for our product is we will complete the full pipeline. We will allow the user to interact actively, create, validate, and export the synthetic data set through our front end page. And we would like to deploy the in pilot use cases. We want to select 2 to 3 real world machine learning pipeline. For example, like the document classification. The question and answer system or the fraud detection to test the synthetic um, data performance again and see how it works in more complex pipelines as well. So um, yeah, if possible, we would like to add a quality evaluation pipeline as well. So we can build an automated scoring system for the grammar, the data diversity or factuality. We supplemented by a human reviewer for the edge case validation as well. And we have already working on the documentation um, as well. So in the long term, we would like to expand the synthetic data's modalities specifically for text generation. We can do speech or the textual data enabling multi-format training scenarios. And hopefully we can partner and collaborate with different university or researchers to co-create specialized data sets and pursue integration opportunity with industry use case as well. So lastly, I will talk about the future in front of the big picture. So the trend is super obviously the next generative models like GPT-5 and beyond will help us to create a more accurate and context aware and controllable synthetic data, and vice versa. The generated text, synthetic text can also feed to these models to help us train something more accurate and without using the confidential data as well. And hopefully we can um, and there's a continuous learning pipeline here. So synthetic data generation system will evolve into adaptive feedback loops, learning from the real world performance and continuously refining the output. So what the impacts will be? So it will be super helpful for us for us like the researchers and the students, and also for the startups, because it can help them to build high performing models without needing you know, massive confidential data sets. And in the high impact domains like the healthcare, law, and education, it can also help build transformative applications as well. And most importantly, it will increase the trustworthiness of AI. It can reduce the reliance on user data, minimizing the privacy concerns and aligning with ethical data goals. And yeah, that's all about my presentation. Thank you for listening.